Okay, so what we don't do is try to get people to vote for the ticket. Okay, we think that people should vote for the best representative. And I know that you might come from a different place. I'm just telling you what we do. One of the things we're not happy about, for example, is here, you notice there's no cars, very few cars parked on the street.
Very few what?
Cars parked out on the street because they keep raising the parking meter rate. So now it's $2 an hour.
$2 an hour, right.
It's $2 an hour. What they should be doing is bringing things here. And yesterday, they just added a whole bunch of new parking meter slots. And it's a way to raise money. That's all it's for. It's for raising money. So, so I'm going to turn it over to you. And if you can talk about what are the things we need to do to get people elected, and the civics process of getting people to get, it's our civic duty to vote. Okay. So here you go. Do you want to sit in the chair?
Oh, I like to stand up.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my name's Bill Collier.
Bill Collier?
Yeah, I'm older than most of you here.
C-O-L-L-I-E-R.
Right, yeah. And I'm 84 years old.
Wow, you look pretty good.
And I've been involved in campaigns for the last 40 years. One thing about when you get into a campaign, you have to believe what you're doing. If you don't believe what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. I ran for office around when you guys were in kindergarten, and I ran for the state assembly, and I made up a brochure. And some of you folks remember Jane Fonda?
Yes.
Well, Jane Fonda's husband was running for office, or U.S. Senator or something in California, and I happened to meet him, and I didn't have any money. So I made up the brochure, and then I was saying something to him, and his campaign laid it out, and then I went to a printer for $100 or so and had it printed. And I brought it along with me. I said, I'm going to pass along here for you. And the things that I was standing for, they're just as relevant today as they were before. And I'll pass it out so you can pass it down there and see. And this is the picture of me here. And nobody recognizes me because I get better looking as I get older. and it has a list of some of the people that I helped got elected. Primarily, I actually helped women get elected because, women never did win the election. So when I came back to California, I think it was in 1972 or something like that. I was in the Army for 8 years. When I got out of high school, I joined the National Guard, and then that was 1948. And then I was with all my friends, and they kicked us out because we were kind of loud and rowdy. When you're 18, you make a lot of noise. And so then the Korean War broke out in 1950. And since we had signed up, we all had to go. So they took the whole neighborhood, and so then I went to the Army. My father was in the Army for 30 years. He retired before I was born. So since I got in there, it was kind of fun because I got out of San Diego. I thought I'd never get out of San Diego, but when I got out of the Army, they gave you $20 a month, something like that. They fed you and they give you a free plate. They give you 3 hots and a cot. So I stayed in the Army, and then they sent me overseas. And when you're 18 or 19 years old and you go overseas, it's fun because, you've never done anything but went to high school in a little college or something like that. So anyway, I stayed for 8 years, and then I got out because I figured the only thing they were teaching in there was how to kill people. And, and you can get killed if you stay in the Army long enough, believe me. And so I'm going to pass my little brochure along so everybody take a look at it. But like I said, if you're going to get involved in an election, you should really believe in it. You don't really have to believe in your candidate, but you have to believe in what you're doing. because sometimes you don't want to do anything, but when you get involved in the right person and they get elected, it makes it best not just for you, but it makes it best for America. And that's the most important thing. And I came here the other night because they were, a friend of mine invited me down here, and she says, because I wanted to get involved with some Democratic club or something like that. And so then when I came here, there was 6 or 7 people down there, and I met a young lady who just ran. Her name is Yvette Chevalier. Yeah, that's her poster up there.
Right there.
And I was impressed with the people there, and I was impressed with some of the things she said, and she's going to run for office in 2016. Now, this is going to be a hot year, believe me. We have Ms. Clinton running for president of the United States. So far, she's the popular candidate. And then we have the U.S. senators retiring, and he's already chosen the person he wants to support is a woman. And right now, she is the Attorney General of Nevada. Yeah. And so that means we got a lot of things going. But and you see the gentleman back there, you said you ran for city council? Was that it?
They helped the guy run for city council.
Oh,
He helped him,
you helped him run for city council.
not him.
A
A different guy.
So, nothing against Republicans, but I'm just not with them because they're kind of opposite of the way I think. Now, Yvette's getting ready to run for a judge.
Municipal court judge.
It's going to be in 2016. So the election is going to be in June 2016. And the way we need to get her elected, if you're going to support her, we need to get 100,000 votes. Because the person's running against her will probably have thousands of dollars. And most candidates that I work for, they don't have any money. In fact, most of the time I spend my money on gas and running around. But I enjoyed it because it's really a lot of fun. And I met with her the other day. We met down there at McDonald's and I had a drink and a hot apple pie. And so we discussed how she's going to win this campaign. But she's already gone through a campaign and she did a pretty good job. Now, the secret of winning the campaign is money. So most candidates you're going to be helping out don't have any money. But the secret that you have is people, and you have the internet. She's already started working the internet already. And this is our plan. And first thing, when I get a candidate, I get a little badge like that, and I put it on. I ran, when Obama ran for president, what was it, 2008, something like that, I helped a candidate. She was a female, she was Hispanic, she has a PhD, and she's between 60 and 75 years of age. And we had no money, and we ran for Congress. We ran for the Democratic nomination. So we had no money. So I designed a brochure, and then we went down to the printer and paid 1 cent a copy and printed our flyer out. And anyway, we were running against 3 other Democrats. And she's a tremendous speaker. We missed the Democratic nomination by 700 votes. We shouldn't have won. But I tried to tell her, go with Obama, but she had to go with Hillary. But if she'd have went with Obama, we would have got 700 more votes. And then we would have went to the convention they were having in Colorado, and she would have been the Democratic candidate for this congressional spot. And when we'd have went there to Colorado, every congresswoman in America would have been backing her. But we didn't win, so we didn't go. But just show you 700 votes, 700 votes is nothing. First thing, she's Hispanic. And in San Bernardino County, and that area there, 50% of the district is Hispanic. So all we needed was 701 more Hispanics to vote for her, and we'd have won the nomination with no money. We're talking about less than $1,000. We almost won. And the way Yvette can win is, first thing, she's very knowledgeable about computer.
She speaks Spanish.
She speaks Spanish, yeah.
Yes.
And on the 25th, and she's from Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah. And whoever heard of a Puerto Rican getting elected?
That's big.
And then on the 25th of May, they're going to have an affair here celebrating Puerto Rican something. And we're going to be there. Between now and the election time, I personally will pick up 1,000 people. Coming out this week, she's getting a new card made. She's going to get about 5,000 cards made. And I have a card with my picture on it. And I'm going to get a lot of my cards printed, because when you give somebody a card, if you don't have nothing but some words on there, they normally, as soon as you turn your back, they throw it in the trash. But when you have a card with your picture on it, for some reason they keep it. And when you get a card with a good-looking guy like me on there, half of the women will put it in their purse because I got my phone number on there. Yeah, I'm not a woman chaser. I just like to look. You know, when you're 84 years old, you're not dangerous anyway. So I plan on, between now and June of next year, I plan on probably giving out 5,000 of these cards with my picture on it. And we'll probably give out 10,000 of her cards with her picture on it. And so, anyway, when we give out a card, we want your name and your internet number. So what you can do is free. We could send them a newsletter once a month for the next year, and we can send them a little note every week if we want to. Last week, I got on the internet from every Republican that's running for office are sending me stuff, telling me to send them money and how they're going to save America. And how did they get my number? I don't know. But every Republican in America is sending me stuff this week, telling me to help them save America and donate some money to them. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it so by the election time next year, we want 100,000 people saying, I'm going to vote for Yvette because we're tired of her sending me a newsletter and telling me to vote every week for the last year. Now that's the way you can win an election without having any money. She probably spent some money. I don't know how much money she spent, but I know she don't have a lot of money like the Republicans, because I got this newsletter, a thing in the mail the other day, and the Republicans, they said they're building a firewall around Hardy. That's the guy that defeated the African-American congressman here in Clark County. Now, Clark County has more Democrats than Republicans, and we got, and it's probably 50% minorities too. So there's no way in the world an incumbent Democrat should have really lost that election. But when we get people in office, they get carried away and they don't work hard. The Republicans did what we don't do. They got out there and knocked on doors. They don't have to worry about money because they have millions. Now they're already lining up millions of dollars to save this Republican from winning. Now, if we get 100,000 votes for Yvette, that's in Clark County too. Whoever we run for Congress in this area will probably win. Now, the one that's probably running, and they had an article in there now, his name is Senator Reuben Hewen. Now, this district is all Democrats, majority Democrats, but we only have a 29% turnout. In the election the other day in North Las Vegas, we only had 9% turnout. But my candidate up there won anyway, because he was a Democrat, because he wasn't afraid. He said, I broke for sure, and he said, I'm a Democrat, and you need to vote for me. But it was still a 9% turnout, and he still won. So it's just mine over Matt. Now what we have coming up next week, I mean, in the 5th of May, is Cinco de Mayo. And I don't know what Ruben's doing. He should be at every Cinco de Mayo in his district. And he should tell them, I'm Ruben, and I'm a state senator. I'm a great state senator, and you should vote for me because I'm a Democrat and I'm a great state senator. Now he needs to get in touch with me so I can tell him what to do. But also, in June, how many of you have ever heard of Juneteenth? Yeah, Juneteenth is a celebration for after the Civil War was over. The people down in Texas never got the word that they were free. And so when the word got down there, they started this celebration down in Texas called Juneteenth. And every city in America just about celebrates Juneteenth. Now, Juneteenth, if we get enough African Americans together to come to this thing on Juneteenth, and 90% of them are Democrats, and 90% of them live in Clark County, we should be there to tell them and register them and get their email. We should do the same thing on the 25th of May, because they're going to have a Puerto Rican Day here.
Well, I'm not trying to be a know-it-all on this because I don't know a whole lot, but I will tell you that the population of Hispanics, Mexicans especially, is probably close to 70%. But the thing is very few of them are registered to vote. So I would take a lot of time into getting these people to register. And then you got
Well, see,
there.
that's our job. That's why I'm here. Because I didn't know I was going to see this many people. I thought I was just going to talk to one person. But see, that is our job.
And they will vote Republican or Democrat because they are not a party aligned yet.
That's right. But let me tell you, they're just like you. They know right from wrong.
They do.
Yeah, you know what side your bread is buttered on. And if you have the right candidate, regardless of what party he's in, if he's thinking the same way that you're thinking, they're going to vote for him if you can get them to turn out. And the only way you can get them to turn out, because election a few years ago, they had a list of candidates that long running for judge. There was about 5 different positions open. And I looked at it. Here I call myself being smart. First, I looked down there and I saw the women that were running. And I chose them. Then I looked at their name. If I like their name, I check the name. I check them because of their name. The same thing happens to the average voter. All of you here, next year, when the people are running for judge, unless we get to you, you won't even know who to pick. And that's true, because we're all the average citizen and the average voter. And because, there's going to be position 1, position 2, position 10, municipal judge, dog catching judge. But you have to pick one, and unless our candidate gets to you and send you a newsletter and something and put, and get your mind thinking, oh, I'm going to vote for you, Vet, because she's been bugging me for a whole year. I'm going to vote for her just to keep her to stop bugging me. Anyway, she's really smart. I met with her the other day, and we met in McDonald's, and she took a picture of she and I with her cell phone. And yesterday, my picture appeared on my cell phone. She's probably going to win because she got the best looking campaign worker helping her out. And that's how smart she is. I don't say something about you guys, but the women are smarter than men, I tell you that. I can't even hardly operate my cell phone. Coming down here, my phone was ringing, and it was too dark, and I was on the freeway, and somebody keeps bugging me, and I got to answer it later on. They probably saw my picture on my cell phone, and they want to know whether I'm available. Yeah, but I am available, that's all. So anyway, this is the way we're going to win this election. because on Juneteenth, I think a couple of years ago, where that amphitheater down there, they have something going on, and they have art and music and stuff like that. And then on 25th of May, Yvette's gonna be there at Puerto Rican Day, and I got a boom box too, and I'm gonna put some Puerto Rican, some Latin music on, so that, you know, they can really get hyped up. And then on Juneteenth, I was in an art club, and I know all these great African-American artists. And I'm gonna see if they're gonna have the Juneteenth, they have all these artists there selling their thing. But I'm gonna be there, you can believe there. If enough Puerto Ricans come out and they listen to me, I'm gonna register 500 of them, believe me. And then the ones on Juneteenth, we got all these preachers, they got a thing going now, they want to register everybody in their church. And then they're talking to the principals, they're telling all these kids, if you want to graduate, you have to be a registered voter. And so, anyway, we got an opportunity to win this election in 2016 and put a woman in the White House, put a woman for U.S. Senator here in Nevada, and in California, we elected a woman for Attorney General, and she's the most popular person in California, and she's running for U.S. Senator too. So we can get a woman in the White House, and we get 2 new U.S. Senators, one from Nevada and one from California. And if Senator Rubin listens to me, he probably won't, but if he listens to me, we probably can get our congressional seat back. And anyway, I'm so surprised. I never had been in this place before. And when I went in this place, I said, oh, we got a place where we can have a meeting. Yeah. And I met a real bunch of nice people. And I was surprised the other day, they called me up and said they wanted me to come down. I thought they wanted me to talk to them one-on-one. But here they did. They gave me a room full of the most intelligent people in the state of Nevada here today.
Well, I'll tell you a story. I had not voted in 30 years. I started coming to this school, and our director, he pushes the SPQR, which is getting people out there to vote. And by listening to him every day and listening to that, I finally went out and voted after 30 years, and I felt good doing it. And I guarantee you I'll be doing it again, because I felt like an American again. You know, I had been missing out on that for 30 years. The last time I voted was in Chicago, and it was a patronage vote. You had to vote for the guy, or you wasn't going to get a job. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Chicago didn't vote. You had to
way.
get a job. It was controlled.
Right.
But the reason I got involved, after I got out of the Army, I went to school back on the East Coast, and then things shut down, and I came back to California. I came back to Southern California, and I went to work for Rockwell. I ended up working for Rockwell for 32 years. But I got stationed at a plant near the Los Angeles International Airport. And so I wanted to get an apartment near the airport. So I went down to a rental place there in Los Angeles, in the middle of the ghetto, and I told the lady, I want to get an apartment near the airport. She told me, you cannot get an apartment near the airport because you're the wrong color. Colored people can't live over near the airport. That was the biggest mistake that woman ever made. I got involved. I said, they're doing this to me, but they're not going to do this to my children.
Come on.
I got involved in a little political club. We had like 50 people in that club. And at a meeting, a young lawyer came to our meeting. Her name was Yvonne Brathwaite. And she was going to run for the state assembly. And she was running against 7 men for the nomination, Democratic nomination. And there's more Democrats down there. And so this little club, we got together with all the people in the term. We got her elected, Yvonne Brathwaite. That was 40 years ago. She got elected state senator, state assembly, and the state assembly in California meet up in Sacramento. And when she went up to Sacramento to take her office, the first thing she got when she got to Sacramento, they denied her an apartment because she was the wrong color. She ended up going from the Assembly to the State Senate and then to Congress, and then she ended up supervisor in Los Angeles. And she retired the other day. Last year. But have you guys ever heard of Maxine Waters?
Yeah.
Congresswoman?
Mhm.
Biggest mouth in Congress. Most well-known black woman in America, almost. We got Maxine Waters elected, got Congresswoman Diane Watson, Congressman Julian Dixon. If you look on my brochure, you'll see the picture with Mayor Tom Bradley and myself at the Democratic National Convention in 1972. He ran for mayor. We lost the first time. We won the second time. Sometimes you have to lose one time to win the next election. And our biggest problem in California, we have low turnout too, but we don't have low turnout. Well, anyway, we don't have to worry about putting out white incumbents because we didn't put in all minority people in there. Some of them we put in, we wish we had never seen though. You can believe that. So it really doesn't matter the color when you put somebody off, is what they stand for and what they're going to do. And just like he said, they're raising the price of the parking meters out here. We do a good job. We can go to Las Vegas City Council and we'll tell them, stop raising the prices on these meters so we can get more people out here. In Riverside, California, it's been going on for about 10 or 12 years. A few years ago, the City Council or Parks and Recreation, this is our 7th year of the Juneteenth celebration down there. And they sent word to us that they wanted to tell us how to do our layout and what kind of logo to put on there. That was the biggest mistake they ever made. They sent me down there. They didn't send me down there. I went down there and met with them, and I told city councilman and the guy in charge of the Parks and Recreation, this is our park. And you got the nerve, we've been doing this for 7 years, and you got the nerve to tell us how we're going to put on our Juneteenth celebration. I said, they should fire all of you right now. You know, they changed their attitude just like that. We tell Las Vegas City Council about the price of these parking meters to keep people from coming to the little place on the corner. I said, you're driving people away from this place. I said, lower the price on these meters. And then you should lower the price so after 5 o'clock, you shouldn't even have to put money in the meter. I think it's 6 o'clock now. They should change it to 3 o'clock. So people can come down here when they get off work and don't have to worry about paying $8 or $9 just to bring their kids and their family down here. Win the election, and you go down there and you tell those people what you want. And because we're going to have a woman president of the United States. We're going to have a U.S. Senator woman here in Nevada. We're going to take back that congressional seat, and we're going to put in a new judge and anybody else that you want to do it. And with a group like this here, you can change the world, believe me. Question?
Don't we already have a mayor that's a woman?
Yeah, I don't hear very well.
Mrs. Goodman, is it Mrs. Goodman, the mayor?
What's that?
Is it Mrs. Goodman, the mayor?
What's that?
Carolyn Goodman is the mayor of Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, Karen Goodland is the mayor of Las Vegas. But if we win enough election, we'll tell the mayor what to do. I don't care. You know, she's an independent. First thing, I don't like independents anyway because they don't vote for Democrats. They don't support Democrats. But anyway, she may be good. She's a good public relations for Nevada. But we got to get the prices on them parking meters changed. They're trying, and the Republicans up there in our capital, what they're trying to do is we vote in people on the educational board. They want to change it so they can select the people being on the educational board. They want to change. I went to a meeting the other night, And they're trying to change so they can control and take a school and turn it into a charter school if they want to, and shut down any of the schools they want to. And all our governor do is talk about education and what he's going to do. But we know what the Republicans are trying to do. They're trying to, when you destroy the school system, you destroy the children, believe me. And you're looking at a person that got destroyed when I was a child. I come from a family of 11 children.
Whoa.
My mother was born, she's not an American, so she didn't speak English very well. And my father, he was always busy working and stuff even after he retired. So when I went to kindergarten down in San Diego, because I should have went to, what do they call it, preschool. Because when I went to kindergarten, we played around and stuff like that, took naps and sang songs. When I went to first grade, they handed us Dick and Jane book.
Mm-hmm.
Majority, it's about 20 kids in a classroom. And I think myself and another kid was black, a few Mexican, a couple of Asian. Majority of the kids were white. I picked up that book. It might have been in Russian and Chinese. I could not read. I couldn't even see my name if it was a neon light, because in my house was dysfunctional because we had nothing but kids. My mother could not read and write. My father was too busy, and I was nothing wrong with my body and my mind, but I was destroyed because I couldn't read and I couldn't write. It took me until the second grade to catch up with the white kids in school. And that was about 1936. But I could not. We are doing the same thing to these children today. My daughter and my granddaughter are teachers here. Majority of the kids in their class are coming from homes where they don't speak English in the house. If you go to the first grade and they hand you that Dick and Jane books, it's see Dick, see Jane, Jane ran, Sue ran. I couldn't tell Dick and Jane from the President of the United States. I could not read. It took me 2 years to catch up with the rest of the kids. I could have, if I had been caught up with them, I probably would have been President of the United States. That's true.
But that's why I think, from my standpoint, it doesn't matter if you're Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, Peruvian, you speak Hispanic. So if I was in charge of anything, I wouldn't just go for the Puerto Rican. Say you got 500 Puerto Ricans, go for all Hispanic speaking people and get them out there to vote. That's what you need, because Las Vegas, believe it or not, I'm telling you, I don't care what the statistics say. I've lived in this town 20 some years, and there are neighborhoods where you do not speak English.
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And those are the people that need to be sought after, and those are the ones that can be swayed to get involved. They'll feel important, then all of a sudden they'll become part of the system.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I am going after anybody that breathes. I want all of them to register, and it's my job to get out there and get in touch with these people and bug them on the internet and make sure they get out and vote. Because if we put in a right judge, we know whoever goes before this judge is going to get equal justice. And that's what we want, equal justice. When they told me I couldn't get an apartment, that was the biggest mistake they ever made in their life. I have 3 children now. I have 2 boys and a girl. My daughter and my granddaughter live here in Las Vegas. My daughter and my granddaughter have their master's degree from UNLV, and the only thing keeping them from getting their PhD is that $10,000 they need, because it costs money to get a PhD. They're gone from a grandfather that couldn't even read and write when he was 7 years old, and now my kids are going for a PhD. And it's not because I'm smart, it's because I took after my father. My father went to work every day.
What
Once
did your
you
father
set,
do, sir?
Huh?
What did your father do?
my father was in the Army for 30 years. My father was an officer in World War I.
Wow.
My father got a commission in 1916. My father was in the Army. Well, first thing, when my grandparents were slaves, when my grandparents got married, they had all these children. They had 7 boys. And when the boys reached a certain age, they joined the Army. When you join the Army, my father was born in 1880. And when the Spanish-American War started, my father had joined the Army. When you joined the Army right back then, you were either in the 9th or the 10th Cavalry, that was the Buffalo Soldier, or the 25th Infantry. The 25th Infantry was the former slaves. They built this organization called the 25th Infantry. And so when the Spanish-American War broke out, my father was down in Cuba with the Buffalo Soldier. Now they said Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders charged up San Juan Hill and took San Juan Hill. It was a lie. Buffalo soldiers got up the first thing, Teddy Roosevelt, they showed him riding on a horse. They didn't have no horses in the Spanish-American War. It was all done on foot. The Rough Riders were on foot. The 9th and the 10th Cavalry was on foot too. 7 black soldiers from the Buffalo Soldiers won the Congressional Medal of Honor in the Spanish-American War. And that's how we acquired Hawaii and the Philippines, because Spain was in control of them. After the Spanish-American War, then the Buffalo Soldiers got sent to the Philippines. A lot of people don't know we had a war in the Philippines. The people that fought the Americans over in the Philippines were the same people that fought the Spanish for 400 years over there. They never did. They're still fighting today. People never stop fighting. Then my father came back, and he was in 9th and 10th Cavalry. They chased Pancho Villa down into Mexico. They never caught him. And the one that led him was General Pershing. And that's how he got his nickname, Blackjack Pershing, because he led the black troops down in there. After then, the World War I broke out in 1914 or something like that. And they drafted all the people, and they drafted all these black soldiers, and they had a Buffalo Division, and the NAACP, National Council, NAACP, whatever. They told Congress, we need some black officers. They took about 500 or 600 combat veterans like my father, and they sent them to Officers Candidate School. And that's how my father got to be an officer. He got his commission in 1916 and went to France with his all-black outfit. They stayed on the front lines longer than any regiment in the history of the American Army, even up to today. My father's regiment was awarded the Croix de Guerre by the country of France because of what they did. In fact, I got the record right there in my briefcase. And it tells how many people got gassed, how many people got killed, how many people, stuff like that. And so I come from a family of a military family. When World War II broke out, my brother was going to college in Santa Ana on a scholarship. He got drafted into the Buffalo Soldier. Then he got sent to North Africa. Then he got sent to Italy. Then he got out of the Army. When he got out of the Army, there was no opportunity for him. And he went back into the Army. Then the Korean War broke out. He got shot in Korea. The bullet went clean through it. Then things were so bad, they kept him on the front line, in the hospital for 2 weeks, and they sent him back on the front line. Then he goes back on the front line, and a mortar round comes down, kills everybody around there except him. And so he got out of the Army. So he died last year, 92 years old. The last of the Buffalo Soldiers almost, just like the last of the Tuskegee Airmen from World War II. I have my picture in my briefcase with me when I was 18 years old in the all-black outfit. I have this, we were a whole battalion. I have all these pictures of all these black soldiers from the Korean War. And I put them on display. Like when we do the Juneteenth thing, I'm gonna put these things on display to tell these people they got to get, excuse the expression, get their ass out there and register and vote and get their kids to register and vote. That's what I use that publicity for. But this group right here can win, just the people in here. If you get out and do the right thing, we can win that congressional seat. And when we win that congressional seat, we'll snatch that congressman and bring him up there to our mayor and tell Mayor, you're going to change the meters out there. Because the congressman said, you're going to change them meters. And the people from this room here are going to tell the mayor and all them little city councilmen, bring them up there too, and say, when are you going to change these meters? And it'll go in the newspapers. And the newspaper, once it gets in the newspaper will make them change those meters because everybody in the city will know that the city is forcing them to pay money to park when they should be doing the almost free. This group here can change the world. We can bring the President of the United States, President Clinton, we can bring her down here and tell the Mayor Goodman, you're going to change these meters. Yeah. You can do anything you want to. Just like when they told me I couldn't get an apartment, I knew they made a mistake. That's why my daughter and my granddaughter are going to get their PhDs right here in UNLV. That's from a guy that couldn't even read when he was in the second grade. So if I can do that, we can do anything. There's no limit what we can do. And thank you I do talk a lot, but thank you for giving me the time to talk.
Okay, well, William, that was great. What is it about the Democrat Party that is so compelling?
What's that?
What is it about the Democrat Party that is so compelling?
Well, the Democratic Party is not that much different than the Republican Party.